Hey everyone, how you doing? It's Craig Campbell from Pastor Craig's Vintage Cards, and cleaning up my office here and packing some slabs up, putting them in a box, and getting ready to close some things up here for the end of the year. And I wanted to run through and show you the 1969 Topps football set that I'm working on. Everything is at a PSA 6 or 7. There may be a few fives in there, but I'm just going to run through all the slabs I have. I'm trying to build this set. It's the first football cards I remember getting as a kid, and there's 263 cards in the set, two series, and I just love them. They remind me so much of my childhood. I can remember looking at these cards uh, really in the early 70s and just laying at bed at night and looking at the cards. And so I'm just slowly trying to build the set, and it's a little bit costly, and it's taken some time too. But I just wanted to show you guys the progress that I have on it so far, and I hope you enjoy this. And let me get the camera paused, and I'll be right back with you. Okay, back with you. I'm going to run through these. I'm not really going to show the backs, just the fronts, and I've got them in numerical order. And we'll start off with the great Leroy Kelly, card number 1 from the Cleveland Browns. Just love that logo. Leroy Kelly was a great player, Hall of Famer, and he replaced Jim Brown as the Browns running back. We got Eric Barnes, also with the Cleveland Browns. And nice card, Eric Barnes, excuse me. Here's a guy I love, Bill Munson, Detroit Lions. He was a quarterback I remember when I was a kid. This is in a PSA 5, and the key for me is this background, this hot pink. You don't see the fish eyes on it, and that's for me is critical. And I love that Lions logo. Just love that card. But Bill Munson, he was a pretty good quarterback for the Detroit Lions when I was a kid growing up. Jim Lindsey, Minnesota Vikings, a running back. Again, no fisheyes on that green background. Those really kind of bug me. Here's another Jim Lindsey, running back. This is a PSA 5. Here's somebody we all know and love, Johnny Unitas. Nice PSA 7. And again, no fisheyes on that background. Love the Colts logo. One of my favorite cards are Johnny U, the Baltimore Colts. Pete Banaszak, Oakland Raiders. Really good running back. Again, I'll keep repeating it, trying to avoid the fisheyes. Yeah, Pete, he was a pretty good running back for the Raiders back in the day. Here's another really good player, Tom Matte. Tom was just a really good running back for the Baltimore Colts. Love that logo. Miller Farr of the Houston Oilers. You can see the jersey is the wrong. It's not the Oilers jersey. I believe that may actually be an old Raiders top. But Miller Farr, defensive back with the Houston Oilers. There you go. One of my main guys, Ray Nitschke, Green Bay Packers. Beautiful card. Beautiful card. He always looked so big with his shoulder pads in this card when I was a kid. And just love that Packer logo. Just a fantastic design. Just the 69 cards were just so good. So good. Here's a new addition here that I have. Don Maynard, New York Jets, Hall of Famer. Just one of the greatest receivers. Him and Joe Namath were quite the duo. Here's a guy, Lenny Lyles, defensive back for the Baltimore Colts. Pretty good player. Lenny Lyles. These 1969 Topps. This is Bill Glass with the Cleveland Browns. And Bill Glass is a guy that I really like. I know some people that worked in the Bill Glass Ministries. He was a very effective prison minister, and quite a few NFL players were involved in prison ministry through the Bill Glass Behind the Wall prison ministry for 30 or 40 years. And we've actually hosted the Bill Glass Behind the Prison Wall ministry at our church before. But Bill Glass, he passed away here a few years ago. And just a really nice card. Here's another one of my favorites, Carroll Dale, Green Bay Packers, and a really good receiver. He kind of was, late with the Lombardi years, and he played into the Dan Devine years with the Green Bay Packers. But just a really good wide receiver. There's a linebacker who was always tough, Roy Winston, Minnesota Vikings, and a pretty good linebacker, Roy Winston. Sonny Bishop, Houston Oilers. Nice looking cards. Love them. Ernie Kellerman, the Cleveland Browns. These 1969 cards, you can see this is Series 1 because there's no border. You'll see in Series 2 there's a white border around the cards. But also, this was the last, I think for 11 years, the Topps did not have an NFL license, so they were not allowed to use logos or the helmet design on the card. So you'll notice all through the years after that they did not have the logo of the teams. And Hewitt Dixon, really good running back with the Raiders. Had a pretty good game in Super Bowl II against my Green Bay Packers, and just a cool, the old Raiders jersey. Pretty neat. All right, now we're into the 100s now. Got Billy Gambrell with the Detroit Lions. Again, he's wearing a jersey. He must have been traded. Billy Truax, the LA Rams. Love those old Rams jerseys. And again, you can see that's actually on the plastic. That's not on the card. But with those backgrounds like that, any defect just really jumps out at you. Here's a guy that I really didn't know anything about, Craig Bainham of the Dallas Cowboys. And love that old logo. Not a big Cowboys fan, but really, really like that Cowboys logo. Pretty cool looking card. Craig Bainham, running back, Dallas Cowboys. Here's one that's I know a few people in the community really like. Roman Gabriel, great quarterback. Boy, he was just he could really, really throw the ball. And this one's in a PSA 5, but the thing is, again, there's a little dot right there. But if I can find a really sharp looking 5, I'm gonna get it. And again, the fisheye is the thing that I'm trying to avoid desperately. Here's a card, Billy Martin, not the ball player, the baseball player, but this is a PSA 8 off center. And you can see now they've started with the border, the white border around here. You can see the Gabriel has no border, and the Series 2 does have a border. Marv Woodson of the Pittsburgh Steelers. I like those old Steelers uniforms, pretty cool looking. Marv Woodson, defensive back for the Steelers. Dave Williams, a flanker for the St. Louis Cardinals. Like the old logo with the Cardinals running through the arch. And Dave Williams. I always remember this card as a kid because I just thought he kind of looked, kind of rather goofy. And he looked so young there too. And pretty neat card. Jim Burson of the Atlanta Falcons. Jim Burson, Atlanta Falcons defensive back. And again, the white border for the Series 2 cards. Here's an all-time great, just a great player, Jim Otto 00 of the Oakland Raiders, Hall of Fame center. Really just one of the NFL films, and with they just did a great job of highlighting these players. And Jim Otto is one of those guys that will live forever because of NFL films. And his helmet used to just be so beat up as an offensive lineman. And then 00, just a cool card. And I remember watching him play. He was an old veteran by the time I really started to watch football. And here's a Bill Brown, kind of a block card in my opinion, with that orange background, the white top, and the purple numbers. Just kind of like, it's there. But Billy Brown, he wasn't a bad running back for the Vikings. Pretty good ball player. Here's one of my favorite logos of all time, San Diego Chargers, John Hadle. And that red background, again, boy, you get some fisheyes on there and it's tough. But Hadle, he wore number 21. And for me, I always remember the Green Bay Packers traded away a lot of draft picks to get an old John Hadle as a quarterback with Green Bay in the early 70s. And it really, a lot of historians really feel that that really kind of destroyed the Packers for the whole 1970s because they had no draft picks. There was no free agency back then, so you kind of had to build strictly off of draft picks. Steve Stonebreaker, great football name. Love it. I don't really know where the stain's at, but man, if you're a linebacker and you got the name Steve Stonebreaker, that's good news. New Orleans Saints. Roy Shrivers, running back for the St. Louis Cardinals. Really do not know much about Roy, but pretty cool card. Again, with that white border on the Series 2. This guy here does not get any... I'm sorry, this is not the right guy. Kermit Alexander, defensive back. I thought it was Jimmy Johnson. But yeah, Kermit Alexander, the San Francisco 49ers. Love that old logo. Again, pretty cool. And pretty good ball player. Kermit Alexander. I remember this card as a kid because I couldn't hardly pronounce his name. Pete Peralt. Pete Peralt, Cincinnati Bengals. Kind of like that old Bengals logo. Obviously the jersey, I think he was with the Eagles the year before, but Pete Peralt, a guard. And, I remember that card as a kid. Here was a guy who was a pretty darn good ball player, Leroy Mitchell. Not Bobby Mitchell, but Leroy Mitchell. Defensive back, Houston Oilers, very fast. 8 OC on this one here. And looks pretty good to me. One of the Bears quarterbacks, Jack Concannon. And I love the Bears logo on this card. Pretty cool. Yeah, Jack Concannon, not really a very good ball player. But, hey, he was in the NFL and he's got a football card. But, yeah, you look at his stats, you look up his stats for his career, and they're rather Chicago bearish. And Earl Leggett, defensive tackle. He looks like a big dude, doesn't he? New Orleans Saints. He just looks like a big guy. Earl Leggett. I remember that card as a kid. Always liked the Philadelphia Eagles logo on these cards. Tom Woodchick. It's kind of it's simple, but it's cool. Tom Woodchick, running back, Philadelphia Eagles. And that ends all of the cards in the 100s. We've got Ray Ogden, an end for the Atlanta Falcons. Card number 206, Ray Ogden. Dave Costa, defensive tackle, Denver Broncos. Dave Costa. And here's one of my favorite cards, period. Bart Starr, Green Bay Packers. Love it. Look at that. Just beautiful, beautiful card. Green background. Nice smile for Bart. Man, everything about that card just is like right up my alley. Just love it. So happy to have that card. Dave Lloyd, Philadelphia Eagles linebacker. The old Eagles helmet there. Pretty cool. Dave Lloyd. Paul Martha, defensive back, Pittsburgh Steelers. Again, that pinkish, I don't know, magenta, whatever color that is, when it's got fisheyes on it, it just jumps out at you. Paul Martha. It's fun to look at these cards. I haven't pulled them out and looked at them in numerical order in a while. Washington Redskins, Sonny Jurgensen, one of the greatest quarterbacks, one of the greatest throwers in NFL history. Love the logo for the Skins. But yeah, Sonny, he was a, man, could he sling the ball. He was a heck of a thrower. And what a story. If he would have taken care of himself, he probably would have, who knows. He was playing, during the time of the Bart Starr, Johnny Unitas, so on and so forth. And but he may have been one of the best throwers in the NFL at that time. Now here's a guy that I really, really like, Donnie Anderson of the Green Bay Packers. And again, he was at the tail end of the Lombardi years, and then he played into the early 70s, and just a really good running back. I think he got traded to the St. Louis Cardinals for MacArthur Lane, excuse me, in the 70s. But yeah, Donnie Anderson, just a really cool card. And I always remember that as a kid with him holding the ball. And I used to always try to practice to hold the ball the way Donnie Anderson was holding it. So I have that, and then I also have this one here. This is a PSA 8 OC. You can see it's off center. When you compare the two of them, it's definitely, you can see why it's OC. Yeah, Donnie Anderson, great player. And Homer Jones, one of the fastest guys in the NFL, New York Giants. And boy, he was a real speedster. PSA 8 off center on this one. This guy is a great quarterback. I'm still surprised he's not in the Hall of Fame. That's John Brody, San Francisco 49ers. Just a really great player. I believe he is still alive, and he actually was on the senior PGA tour after he retired from football. He was a really good golfer. He was competitive on the senior PGA, and he may have even won a couple of tournaments. And he was also an announcer, too, during the probably late 70s, early 80s on NBC or CBS, one of the networks carrying football. But yeah, John Brody, great quarterback. I am surprised he's not a Hall of Famer. This guy here was kind of a winner, Earl Morrall, and backed up Johnny Unitas. And I think he was the quarterback during Super Bowl 4 or 3 when Unitas was hurt. And Earl was just a winner. He was a great quarterback. And I love that with the hand and the throwing motion. It's just really, really cool. Just a neat card. You can see, though, what I'm talking about. Like right there, you got that fisheye. It just, for me, it just jumps out. I'm keeping it, but, for me, it just jumps out at me. And, if I ever find one that doesn't have a fisheye that's a little bit reasonable, I may pick it up. And here's a guy, Charlie Harper, kind of a neat card, offensive lineman for the New York Giants, with the blue jersey, big shoulder pads, and that bright green background. Kind of a cool looking card. Charlie Harper. And Jerry Philbin, New York Jets defensive end. Jerry Philbin. And last but not least, the last card of the set, Daryle Lamonica, the Mad Bomber, Oakland Raiders. Daryle Lamonica, like Sonny Jurgens, could just flat out air it out. I mean, he could throw the ball. And, George Blanda was a quarterback, and then Lamonica, and then Kenny Stabler came after Lamonica. But, I mean, Daryle Lamonica he was unbelievable in the 60s. Mad Bomber. I believe he played at Notre Dame. Yep, Notre Dame. And just one of the really fantastic quarterbacks of the AFC. Well, guys, I just wanted to show you the 1969 football set, and that I'm collecting, PSA 6 and 7 primarily, and I'm going to get these boxed up. Thanks for taking a walk with me through the 69 cards. They're just a fantastic looking cards, and I'm looking forward to Sunday completing that set. Until next time, everybody, take care and keep on collecting.